Hey guys, today is November the 25th of 2015, and I want to go over the US dollar using price and time technical analysis. I haven't done a video in a while, so I want to catch up and leave you some of my thoughts on the dollar. Dollar's been moving really strong, and I want to show you some things I'm seeing on the chart, and hopefully this will help you uh, make some wise decisions. Please pause the video and read the video disclaimer. Before I go into that, I just want to let you know that sometimes I don't do videos, but I do post my ideas or some trades that I do and share it. Some work out, some don't. As an example, the Aussie. I thought that we were going to do a pivot high here, so I was going long, and that was my forecast, two targets, and it did the actual reverse, and I got stopped out at 7.99. And I really haven't updated this, but it went higher and put a pivot low. I haven't looked at it uh, recently, so I don't know if it took out this low or it, swung right back down. I'm sure it did because the dollar's stronger. So I just want to show you some examples and some other people post here. So even if I don't do videos, I put some ideas I have, and we have actually 440 members, so which is pretty good. Uh, So let's go into the dollar. This is the commitments of trader report, and as if you can see, as of like May, or what is this? Somewhere around here, I guess from this report here, June 16, commercial started hedging and shorting the dollar, and large speculators went long. And you can see that there were some bumps, there were some fake outs. They thought that the dollar right here, they thought the dollar was done, and it kept going higher, and they kept shorting, and commercials were unwinding, and then here they went back in long. You can see how the pattern goes, and then we made a top here on what is that, March the 13th. We made a high, and we peaked here, and you can see that it's been going down in regards of money going into the dollar, but we've been going sideways because of the interest rate back and forth. And now you can see that prices have resumed going higher, and almost, I'm sure they want to kiss this high of 178, and it could do it today, or it could do it, before the year is over, or it may not, it may just turn over. I'm leaning towards that the dollar's going to go higher, and you can see that money from here, from this swing low, somewhere around here, actually after this candle, big bull kicker candle, you can see that the large speculators resume on there. It'll be interesting to see if we could take this high right here, and commercial unwinding. So that's looking at it from a 3-year weekly. If you get closer on the daily, you could get a little thing here, a little closer look. This average is moving average, exponential, closing at 9. So you can see that it's hugging that moving average and trending higher. I just use that as a, kind of let me know where the medium is between bullish and bearish within, short term, swing trade. So that's where we're at. Money's piling in on the dollar. They think it's going to go higher, and that's where the money is showing where people are. I took retail because retail is just a waste. It's just kind of like not really doing much. I'd rather know where the big money's going, large speculators are putting it, and commercial, what are they doing? Are they hedging? And this is an example of what's going on. Where am I? Let's go here. This is the Gann Grid. I'm going to do a video one day. I was supposed to do it sooner, but I've been distracted with stuff, and I want to have a subscriber that wants to I use Thinkorswim platform, so Thinkorswim platform doesn't have a lot of geometry indicators or tools. All of this is done by hand, so I had to make this, and I do this for all the ones that I really follow. I do it for I call it like the big picture. I usually do it for the monthly, weekly, and the daily, and I do it from swing pivots. So this is 20 years from the high of the dollar and the low here, and this is a weekly chart. And as you can see, we're trending higher. Um, we put a high here at the end of the Gann grid, which is the 100%, and you can see that it was like March the 13th, and then here it pulled down, and then it's just been chopping around. This is the 50%. So this 96.17 is this key level. This is where it's balanced, and if it's above this balanced level, according to Gann, and it's higher than this, it's bullish in regards to the balanced equilibrium. So it's bullish here, and then if you do the 45 within the grid, because there's a bigger grid, and then there's the within the smaller grid of the big grid, there's 45 angles too. It's respecting this one. As you can see, it hits a top. Let me get closer here. It fails it here. It busts right through it, finds support, goes through it. So this line right here, you can see that it's respecting it, and it's speed-wise. We were chopping here. Obviously, you could tell because we were going back and forth in a range, and now we broke out of this high right here. So you can see, and now it looks like it wants to go higher. This is the 12.5% in time. So that right there, that is 1/30/2016. So at the end of the month of January, we're going to hit the 12.5%. I don't really use Fibonacci, even though I know it's good and a lot of people use it. I use percentages in time within levels. So and they're close. It's not that far off between the 61.8 and the these percentages levels that I have here. It's just that it's just a preference that I use. So that's where the dollar is going. I doing some analysis in time. I'm thinking the dollar's gonna go higher. And it's gonna kind of top out on the 3rd week of March. So don't write this in stone. It could backfire. It's just a calculation I have. But somewhere between March, the 3rd week, anywhere between the 11, 12. Well, 12 is a Saturday, but the 11th Friday could show some topping signs. But that 17, 18, 19. It's going to be really interesting somewhere around here. So you know what? I'm going to actually put a forecast date of where I think this dollar is gonna have some issues. Where's my date here? Time level. And this is weekly candles, so let's see. Somewhere around here, 14. We'll do it there. And we do it there. So in those 2 weeks, I think we might have an issue, or could be a top, or like has happened to me before, my calculations are reverse, and within it does happen, where I'm thinking we're gonna top here, and it could be any angle. It could be this 45 of the big grid, the bigger picture time frame, or it could just continue going down here, and let's say Yellen doesn't raise interest rate, people lost interest in the dollar, they sell off, and then somewhere around here, it'll bounce off and shoot higher. But I'm leaning more that it's gonna go on its course and I'm not saying that's the price level, but that in that time frame, you know, it's gonna sell off on that week right here. So it should be, or here. We could chop around and just keep going, week, going back and forth, higher, and maybe hit it here, which is at 102.45, or continue, they raise the interest rate, and hit it here, and then shoot down. So we'll see. Just letting you my thoughts on that. Looking at volume on the dollar, you can see that we're above the value area high of 98.59. Oh, and by the way, I am long the dollar right here. Am I? Right here at this angle, I bought it. What is that, like 98.55-ish, somewhere around there? So I am long the dollar, so hopefully, if it comes back down and retraces and respects this 45, I'll still be, at a good area. And my target, obviously, as you know, will be for next year in March. Let's see how that pans out. You can see volume. This is the daily. We're above the 98.52, so that's a strong level right there. And you look at the weekly. The thing about the daily, you can see that this thing has been on balanced volume, has been pointing down while this is chopping. So we should take out these key levels if this thing is going to go higher, especially this level right here in regards to volume. If you go to the weekly, you can see that we put that high here, and the same thing has just been going down, and we're at that pivot point where it's gonna either break through right there. So if it breaks through right there and bulls see that there's going to be momentum to go higher, and this is analysis just on volume alone, and you can see that we're still trying to push higher. Looking at the monthly, you see that we're way above here, and it's pretty strong. It's different as you see it on the monthly. You can see that we made 3 TPs here, and we're shooting higher. So the monthly is showing you the true, what I call the true trend. It's holding. It just broke right there, and it's going to shoot higher. So that's where the dollar really wants to go. It's higher. You can see it here. The market forecast is green, and this is on a daily. It's just showing you that these were all buying opportunities. These little dips right here, you could have bought it right there. Maybe it would have been choppy here, but eventually is going higher. Entry points, I call them, within the market forecast. But the green line is telling you that the momentum is to the upside. Same thing. You can see here on the 5-day forecast, 5-day chart, sorry, you can see that each candle is 1,000 ticks. So you can see the true momentum of price, why it's going higher. Here is 180 day, 1,000 tick chart, and you can see that we've been chopping around, obviously, and that we're still pushing higher. So if you were to do a trend line, it's still respecting it and still pushing higher, and the high is at 178. So my guess is that the path of least resistance is to the upside. And the last chart I want to show you will be the big picture. I work my way backwards so you can kind of see, because the big picture is always what the real big time frame is showing. You can see that we put the high on March, and we've been chopping around. Are we going to raise interest rate? It's looking like it, but you know, we're debating on depending on data. And look, November's month, we pushed and broke out of this consolidation, and now we're going to test that high. If we push through that high and push higher, two things could happen. It's either a bull trap, and it caught a bunch of bulls, and it's a double top, and then we're gonna go back down, or they raise interest rates, and it could be, you know, by a percentage point, you know, point whatever, whatever it is, it's gonna make whoever is in the dollar bulls happy, and we're gonna push higher. We were at the top of the range. You know, I know a lot of people want to sell the dollar right here, but it's dangerous because this thing could continue going higher. On the weekly, you can see that we were on a squeeze play on right here, going back and forth, and another indication that the dollar wants to go higher is that the squeeze play gave us a green light on November 16th to go long. But I went ahead of it because I just saw how this was creeping up. And fish is looking good. You can see the CCI, the 50, is in positive territory. That's bullish. And the MACD, positive. TIMA, everything. PPS buy signal above the 50, above the 20, broke the mobile band, pushing higher. Dealing with the highs, which is 178. Once we pierce through that, could either stall because bears are going to try to pull this down, but this is where the true bullish bulls will show up and see if they really got it to push it higher. And if they raise interest rate, I think this is going to really shoot up. On a daily, you can see they've just been chopping around. We had a new moon here, you know, kind of sold off, but really nothing. We're above the 20, the 50. You're in, you know, trending. We got a full moon today. For those that follow, you know, astro trading, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturn and Neptune are going to square off. That should be interesting. Let's see what happens. A lot of things are happening in the world, so they say it could cause revolutions and wars and whatnot. So it should be interesting how that's going to pan out and affect the markets, if it is or not. And you can see that, you know, we're just kind of having a little, you know, divergence here. And the 12-hour, same thing, just back and forth, still respecting that 20, still above the 50. And, you know, there's key levels here, the 99.73, you got this 99.09, and this one is the 97.93. This is in regards to percentage level, this is the 12.5, so it's really strong. From here, 12.5, you're dealing with the top. Same thing here. That's the 97.08. So this was all like a line in the sand within the dollar on a monthly, and you can see that it always like hit it and pulled back down and found support at the next level, which is the 25%. This is the 37.5, and then this is the 50. So, you know, if you do Fibonacci, I haven't used it in a while, so these have their numbers too. But since I use them in percentage, you can see how I was finding. You know, you could have been scalping the range. You know, sell it here, buy it here, sell it here, buy it here. You know, just on the month. Sometimes it would have worked out, but here, you know, sold it, bought it, sold it. You know, getting close here, bought it, and then buy it now, because now it's broken out of this range and now it wants to test that high, and chances are if it pushes and takes out that high, it might just continue. So those are my thoughts on the dollar. Bullish, and my target long term will be March the 3rd week. I'm I'm going to do a little more homework as we get closer and closer, see how price action behaves, and then I'm going to see if I could try to forecast maybe a price level where it could, normally top out. So, and that all depends if we take out that high, which we're getting really close. Once we take out that high, this could be your next level resistance, 102.45. And then time-wise, you got the 12.5, which is the last day of January. And then this is the forecast date. One other thing I want to look at real quick is the my simple glance. This is just on the this is the Aussie. Well, yeah, look at that. I was looking at the Aussie. I had it last year. So as an example, in the Aussie, I had a forecast that we were gonna go and hit this range here. So I went long, and you can see that my calculations were in reverse. So I didn't get on it, but you can see that the dollar's been going strong, and the Aussie's been going strong too. So sometimes the dollar won't even affect certain currencies. It's just because time cycles are much stronger and the vibrations of the key points are much greater. That it overrides whatever the dollar is doing. So it's interesting to see that. So my calculation went reverse. So if I could have gone long here, I would have been up, but I missed that opportunity. And just to show you, sometimes you have to adjust, and I'm sometimes good at it, and sometimes I'm not that good at it. It depends, I guess, on my emotions or what I'm going through that day or whatever. The dollar, yeah, it's pretty strong. The daily, let's see over here. A couple of targets here. You got resistance up here, 101, and you got the 102 level. Yeah, that's about it. 102. Look at the weekly. You're above the weekly cloud. Got a nice bounce off of that, so it's looking good. Futures looking positive. It's going up. Chiku finally broke through price, so that's good. Level of resistance to watch for the dollar is at 140 right here, but the top is 178. So that's the level you want to watch, and if it breaks through that level, the dollar going higher, your next target will be that 102.91. And if we look at the monthly, get a cup of coffee here. Monthly, it's pretty much open skies. So let's see something here. The weekly, yeah. So those would be targets for the upside. Longer term, weekly targets, 102. And on the daily, for shorter term targets, as long as you hold that medium point right here, 99.58, 52, 168, and 101. Hope that helps. Keep you posted. Happy holidays, all of yous, and let's see what the dollar does.